And hello to all my Gemini friends, I'd like to welcome you in. My name is Scott Sagent, and today I'll be doing your free Psychic Tarot reading for March 2023. Now today they've dialed up for my great Geminis a Celtic cross spread, and not just because St. Patrick's Day is in March, but the Celtic cross is a great spread for general readings. That is what they chose for you. It's great because it looks a little bit in the past, a little bit in the future, but it focuses the most on what is going on right here in March, smack dab where we're at. It's also the only spread that I do that devotes an entire card, an entire position to the environment. So there's something around you Geminis in the month of March that the Spirit wants to bring up and address, or at least bring your awareness to. They've also asked that I conclude your reading with an angel protection card. That's just going to give us a little extra push, a little extra emphasis on a certain direction here on what is going on with something inside your Celtic cross. Celtic cross is a great spread too because it's a scattershot of so much information. It's just everywhere. So you guys are about to get hit with it here in March. I'm excited. Everything's shuffled, ready to go. We're going to conclude your reading also with the runestone, which will tie a nice little bow around this package that we call March. Now let's look into it, shall we? The cards, like I said, are ready to go. I'm going to pull you in here with my overhead camera so you can see what's going on. I like to share my table with you guys and show you what I'm working with and what is going on, what kind of cards we're working with, and all that jazz. This I call my brown deck. It is a very feminine deck. Mostly women in this deck with the exception of the People Court cards. So what I'm doing now, guys, these are basically my ritual cuts. I'm cutting each deck into thirds, putting them back together in a separate order, and that satisfies the ritual aspect of tarot. It is the same procedure for personal private readings, so it's just like you're here with me now. So here we go with the Celtic cross. Now this Celtic cross, they do get kind of tall, and my overhead camera here is wide view with my cell phone. So things are going to get cut off. You're not going to see it all clearly the first go round, but I will move it around so you guys can see everything. Do not worry. So this is your cross. This is you and all that you are. This is what crosses you. This is what's behind you, the recent past, and this is what's in front of you, the near future. This is what's above you, something that you're aware of. And this is what's below you, something that you're not aware of. And then we got running up the sides with 7, 8, 9, and 10. I'm going to bend in just for the sake of hopefully getting it in camera just a little bit. Now the first thing I'm noticing is we have a whole lot blocked. Let me count those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. More than 50%, but not enough to kind of get that threshold where I got to check to see if we're going to change that. So everything's good to go like it is. The only thing I really tack onto the Celtic cross is angel cards for any majors. We have a major here, so we're going to grab an angel card there. We are going to get an angel card here. And that's going to be it, guys. Then it's just a matter of showing you everything on the screen. Double check my work here, make sure I'm good. I'm going to just make sure just for, usually this is not people, but I'm just going to make sure that they're not talking about people here. They said no to that. And we got a page here, also no to that. So good, we're good. We're using the energetic definition of my court people cards. Now let me just show you guys the card work's done. All right, so there is your main cross, just like that. Zoom out so you can see that. Make sure you can see the bottom and the top. That's our court cards that came up, but we're using the energetic definition, so that's your main cross. And then we got running up the sides here with number 7, number 8, number 9, and number 10. Final outcome. So let's get to work. Let's get to work, Gemini. All right, March, March, March. They blocked us out at the end there. That's going to be interesting to see. Make some room for myself so I can see it clearly. And we're ready to go. Okay, so Gemini, the first thing that starts coming in is the Devil card. So this is about bondage, being tied into something. I do remember we did kind of harp on that last month that you guys hear. But this could be something completely different than that. This is just something that is, it's got a hold on you that you don't like. Okay, it could be a habit, could be a person, could be people, could be a situation, or a circumstance. There's something that you don't like here, and it's got you kind of cuffed. This could even be a bill. This could be a creditor. This could be a bill you can't afford, just something you don't like. Really at the end of the day, it could be anything you don't like that has a hold on you. Okay, so this is like attached to you and you don't like it, right? Could even be just emotional attachment, could even not be a real thing. Like I said, a person or just an emotion, a feeling about somebody, or you really love somebody from your past and you can't let it go, or you really hate somebody and you can't get over this feeling of anger, right? So it's something like that. Now what they show across you here is all these decisions, all these different ways of doing something about whatever's got a hold on you. As we enter March here, Gemini, they want you to kind of pay attention to all the different ways this can go, because you have a lot of different choices. Please do not feel like there is only one way you can go with this here. Do not feel like you have to stay in this relationship. Do not feel like you have to stay at this job. Do not feel like you have to leave this job. Do not, you know what I mean? Like all these things. Don't just pick one path. There are many. Spirit says at least 7 in this card, or more. Could be 100. There's no card that means 100 paths. But we're saying here, Spirit's saying, you know what? There's more than one way to do this. So even if we go back to the example, like it's a habit they're talking about here, there's not just the nicotine patch. If you're trying to quit smoking, there are lots of different alternatives in different ways that maybe you haven't tried yet. You already know it doesn't work, right? So now let's try something else until we find something that works. Okay, so lots of different paths. They also say you know what to do. That is wonderful. Music to my ears, because now I don't have to tell you what to do. You already know. You already got it under control. You know which kind of way you're going with this here, and more than likely, you're kind of forging ahead here with whatever this is. It doesn't mean that this is going to get resolved in March, but it doesn't mean you should not start. You got to start somewhere. The first steps are sometimes the hardest, and that's what they talk about here as we enter March. You know what to do. Trust your inner knowledge and act upon it without delay. So it's kind of like what I already said, but also Spirit is saying here, don't procrastinate. Got to start sometime. Why not March? Okay, now let's go back to the past. In the recent past, they talk about how busy things were. The activity was all over the place. Maybe you were too busy with work, too busy with the family, too busy to, whatever, fill in the blank. And it's eking into your current time here in March. So it's relevant. It's saying like, you are where you are now because of the busyness before. Maybe just too much was going on. You weren't able to address it before for whatever reason, something like that. So there is you got to make sure that you have time to do these things, and something from the past is connected in that way. Just important information for you to know. As we move into your future position card here, they talk about, really being a little bit bound down to something here. So you either got to really commit to something. Maybe it's a relationship. Maybe it's to the job. Maybe it's commit to a certain way of spending. Maybe it's to commit something to your health. That's what they show coming up very, very soon here in the near future. Really being tied down into something. So you got to really go hard. You got to be all in. You got to be, attached to this way of life or this idea, whatever it is that you are trying to get rid of at the beginning, because that's where this whole thing starts. This whole thing starts at that very beginning of our cross with that whatever's got a hold on you here that you're trying to break free from. Okay, so there's something that you have to really go all in on with, okay? That has to do with the situation and maybe part of the resolution process. Okay, so very interesting. Let's move into the above position, and then we're going to get the below position. The below is one of the most interesting in tarot, in the Celtic cross especially, because that's telling you something you don't know. But first, let me tell you something you do know and you are aware of. They're saying here that there is a neglect to the love corner. Okay, so that's basically your heart, your emotions, your emotional center, your heart chakra. It's saying, you know what, you're not feeling the love here, Gemini. You got to get the warm and fuzzies going on. You got to spend more time with the family, with your loved ones, maybe connect back with some friends. There is something missing here, maybe social life too. There's something missing, with that needs to be addressed in March, okay? And you're already aware of that, so that's good that you know that. I'm not telling you anything new, so you can address it as you see fit. But make sure, there's, at the end of the day, nobody is spending their last days on this planet saying, oh, I wish I worked more. Oh, I wish the things that matter the most are family, friends, the connections we make with people, not things. And nobody's going to say that's kind of where I was going with it. My brain stopped. But, nobody's going to say at the end of the day, oh, I wish I washed my car more. It's little stuff like that. It doesn't matter at the end of the day. What matters is your relationships with people. That's the most important. So don't let that be neglected. So if, do what you got to do here. They're saying you're aware of it. So good. Get to it. Nothing more important than that. Now, before I get into your bottom position, I want to cut away to tell you about the moon cycles. That's going to be relevant to breaking free from stuff That's full moon energy. We're going to talk about all that stuff in your moon cycles. Also got a brand new product and a brand new service to reveal. And here we go. It is moon cycle forecast time. When I tell you about the moon cycles, what's coming in and out, the first one we got coming here is the full moon. That happens on March 7th. Now, this influence is going to happen right here, right now. Most of you are checking out my video early in March, so this is the best time to start using that full moon energy to your benefit. And this is the best time to get anything out of your life that you don't want there, and it doesn't matter what it is. It could be a person. For some of you, it's people. You got to get rid of some bad baggage people. For others of you, it's baggage emotionally, also mental baggage, all that stuff, even if it's personal, physical stuff, like in a closet, cleaning out a closet, a garage, finishing an old project. If it's got to go out of your life, maybe cutting out sugar, cutting certain things out of your life, it doesn't matter what it is. Full moon energy is ideal for that. That peaks at the 7th. That's when our full moon is, but it doesn't have to be on the 7th. Anytime toward early March is great for that. Now, adversely, we have the new moon that rolls in March 21st, but those influences can start being felt as soon as about St. Patrick's Day, around the 17th. So when St. Patrick's Day hits, that's when you can start really trying to bring things into your life. Attract it. And that peaks on the 21st. You don't have to do it on the 21st. Anytime really around the week is the best time for that. But don't wait too far into March or you'll start getting back into the full moon energy. But talking about that new moon energy, that is the best time to attract, to manifest, and to bring new things into your life that were not there before. Trying to attract something new with work, something new with love perhaps. Maybe start something new with health, or even do something new financially that you hadn't done before. These are all best things placed under the new moon, guys. So 21st is your ping date there. If any of this has confused you, or you just like a little graphic aid, make it make sense for you a little bit more, I've put together a moon cycle cheat sheet. It is on my website and it is free. It is parked on the Talking About page, the page of stuff that I'm talking about. It is there every single month. I update that for you guys all the time. Also, brand new things while you're at the website. Make sure you check out the brand new gemstone. It is beautiful thing called Snowflake Obsidian. And of course, any black gemstones, those are your protective gemstones. Snowflake Obsidian specifically is a volcanic protector. So it is like a glass stone forged in the volcanoes. Very, very black with little white indentions on it, little white incursions, and those are called, that's why it's called snowflakes, Snowflake Obsidian. So it's the black with the little Dalmatian spots on there. Very pretty stone, and it is one of the earliest stones that was used for scrying. That's what Nostradamus did, seeing through water. So it has very ancient connections, connectivity connections, and it's good about bringing truths to the surface, as well as protecting and transmuting all those negative energies. We don't want any of those. So make sure you check out Snowflake Obsidian. I'm flashing pictures on the screen as I talk about it here, and have the full write-up for you on it too, so you can see all about it that I've done myself from lots of research on Snowflake Obsidian. So check that out. Also on the website, we have a brand new service as well, and this is the cheapest of the cheapest services. This is something that anybody can get at any time, and it is guaranteed the same day that you order it. It does not have to be booked. Wherever you book on the calendar, it doesn't matter. This thing turns around quick. It is a runestone reading. So it is an actual runestone that gets pulled for your energy, which you're going to see later in your reading for the sign. But let's say you want a runestone for your month, what you got going on specifically for you, or hey, maybe you're just having a rough go of it. You need a little inspiration here from Spirit. Runestone will do that for you, and I'll record that for you, and that is an audio reading, so you don't even have to be there for it. It pulls using your birth date, so that is worth checking out on the website as well. Very, very super affordable because it's so quick, but has a profound, lasting impression for you. So check all that stuff out, guys. Make sure you're signed up for the newsletter. That's at the bottom of every single page. Make sure you follow on Facebook as well, because I do giveaways on there as well. So that's it, guys. Back to your reading. Let's go. Okay, Gemini, I am back with your bottom position. Now they're telling you something you're not aware of, and this is a correspondence coming through from the love corner. So they're talking a lot about love here for you, and they're letting you know that a change is coming soon, or not necessarily a change, but a correspondence is coming soon. So somebody's going to reach out, somebody's going to text you, email you, call you on the phone, somebody that you care about and love, right? Love corner is a big place. It's your close friends, your family, the whole bit. Anybody close to your heart can come in there. I even sometimes read it as pets, but of course pets are not going to text you or call you. Most of them, right? So that's what they're talking about here. They're talking about a correspondence, and it's going to come in early in March. This is not going to be a late thing. So this is actually a really good time for love messages as well. For my singles, okay, that's kind of an underlying thing that Spirit's kind of slipping a little piece of knowledge here for you, a little open of the window of the piece of information that here is a great window of opportunity for a lot of my single Geminis, but only early in March, okay? That kind of goes away middle to, let's call it St. Patrick's Day onwards, okay? The energy just shifts. It changes a little bit. They're saying here, take advantage of this early if that's you and something you're trying to do. Otherwise, let's say you're coupled up, Gemini. This is still a love correspondence, so it's a correspondence from somebody that you love. I always tell people here too, check your old emails when this comes up, because this could be something that you could overlook perhaps. And, hey, a correspondence is a correspondence. It doesn't mean it's good or bad. It can really go both ways. But I view it usually pretty positive. That's because it's something that you love. So unless it's like a heartbreak thing, which they didn't show, it's got to be positive, right? So correspondence, love correspondence coming in, depending on where you're at, is the context of what you are going with there. So number 7 was another big deal here. And number 7 is your advice section. What they're telling you and advising you is that, this is really up to you. This era of your life is completely controlled by you. There are certain things that we outline before we come here. We kind of, the certain things we want to accomplish and things we want to learn and experience, all that kind of stuff. And then there's all the space in between these outlines that we fill in the details of our free will choices. And that is what they're talking about here. They're saying a lot of my Geminis are in this era where you are filling in those details. You are getting these little things done, your day-to-day energies, your smaller energies, but they're meaningful and they're important. So remember that this is made by you. Right now you are creating very largely. This is not about momentum. This is not about fate, destiny. This is all in your control. So Spirit is basically doing this with it. They're kind of pushing it back to you. The ball is in your court. Okay, we're not doing this right now. Like, you have to get yourself out of this, or you have to create whatever it is you're trying to do here instead of letting us do it. Okay, so they're pushing the ball back in your court. They show chakra clearing, so that is a good advice here for my Geminis that struggle with any of that kind of stuff. In the card itself, it's Archangel Metatron. He says, call upon me to clear and open your chakras using sacred geometric shapes. I pay less attention to the shapes part and just more attention to the chakra clearing. Now, there's 7 chakras, top to bottom here. And, I have a guided meditation for one of them. Eventually, I'm going to have one for all of them. But right now, I only have the throat chakra. So if, for example, if you struggle with communication or expressing yourself freely, that is a guided meditation that I offer. It is free, excuse me, and it is on my website, scottsagent.com. It is also on YouTube, so you can check that out if that's an area of struggle for you. And for the other chakras, I have a chakra scrub. It is a personal audio product, very affordable, part of my mini audio series. You don't even have to be there to be read. It just pulls from your birth date, and therefore it's very accurate. We're not using the bubble energy that we're using here, Gemini. It's all about you in any of my personal services here. So they are calling for a chakra clearing. So if you need to know which chakra you need to get working here on, that is the best way to do that. They didn't ask for a chakra scrub in your reading here. They, in fact, wanted to go with angel protection instead, but they're calling us here and saying, hey, you know what? Gemini, it's important. You don't want those chakras plugged up. That's spiritual health and very important. As we move up from there, now we get to number 8. This is your environment card. This is the whole reason they probably wanted to do a Celtic cross in this format. Now they talk about here that a lot of you are in an environment that is very, very hard for you to learn from your lessons of the past. An environment that is not really good for growth. I don't know if they're talking about your work environment, your home environment, anywhere in between. But they're saying here it's really easy for you to repeat old habits here because of your environment. So if that's the case, and that's you, consider changing your environment. Of course, you're semi-stuck to the people that you live with and, the people you call your family. But, you can do certain things. You still have free will, what Spirit tells us the card before. You still have the choice to choose to put yourself in these good situations instead of the bad ones and so forth. So your environment, we really need to kind of make sure that's clean. Make sure it's clean and clear for what you are trying to do. As we move up to number 9, this is hopes and fears. And of course, for most people, this is going to be a fear. And this is a fear that you're never going to either find the one, or you're never going to be truly happy. You're never going to find that pure, blissful joy of rainbows. Okay, so, and that's, I guess, an acceptable fear. I mean, nobody wants to think that way. But at the same time, when you think that way, you know what's going to happen is you're just going to attract more of that, because that's what consciousness does. It kind of repeats, and the universe throws back at you what you put out. What you export is what you get back imported. So if you're putting out, hey, I'm afraid of this, you're just going to get back more fear. You're not going to end up accomplishing the task that you're trying to do, which at the end of the day works against what you're trying to do in the first place. So the whole thing is just kind of like corrupted from your thought process. So consider changing that, especially like the things that you feel very deeply about. They're saying, a lot of my Geminis like feel very deeply and have a real hard time with this because they feel so deeply, almost like an empath, right? Very empathic. And, that's another good thing too. It's a double-edged sword, of course, but, you got to be in control of your emotions too. You don't want to let them control you. You want to control them. So just keep that in mind. Stay in the logical realm as much as you can. You want to kind of like make your decisions at least with your brain, not your heart. Your heart will lead you off a cliff sometimes. So as we get into the top here, this is your final outcome for the month. Now, this is a relatively positive card. It is not like super profound, but they're saying here that some of you that feel a little stuck and a little stagnated, a little, bubble gum under your shoe, you're kind of like sticky to the floor a little bit here. Hey, you know what? You actually got more freedom than you think you do. You have more mobility to move around and to do things and make changes than you're giving yourself credit for. So don't put restrictions on yourself. You guys can do so much. The sky is not the limit. You can go beyond the sky. You know what I mean? So there is no ceiling here at all, except for the ones that you create. So Spirit is saying here, like, remove those. Remove that thought process. These limiting beliefs, they don't do you any good. Get rid of them. You have the ability to make things happen here, and that is the way your month ends. So what more, powerful message can we have from that? Is that, you are free to move around your life. So don't feel like you're not. Okay, let's get into Runestone, guys. And then we got to do, actually, I'm going to pull the Angel 2. I'm going to do these together. I did promise you guys an Angel Protection card, and that's going to be what I need to look at with these cards as well as this. So we're just going to do the whole thing all together. This is your Runestone, which is separation. And I don't know if this is the same one that you guys had last month, but a lot of these things that we're talking about does feel a certain similarity to me from last month. So there is a lot of carryover. Maybe these months feel the same to you. February and March is going to feel like one big long month for a lot of my Geminis, things that you're trying to work out here. But separation is about creating space. Okay, it's separating, putting space in between you and something, you and someone, you and a habit, you in a job situation, you in something toxic. They talked about the environment, how important the environment is around you for this positive change to occur. Okay, so there's something you need to create space between you and the other thing, whatever that is for you. That's what they're talking about here with separation. There's many circumstances and situations that we talked about already in here that this would apply to. I'm not going to go through them all, but you already know because we've been through it all. So separation, create some space there for yourself. Grabbing the Angel Protection card, I did promise you that. They also want to bring in how high vibration you guys are, which is probably why they're impaling you with another one of these spreads. Claircognizance comes up. They're saying pay attention to your thoughts and ideas that come to you. They're answered prayers in disguise, essentially. So your ability to be high frequency, high vibration here, you have knowledge coming through you, you're basically an antenna that you are honing in on these energies. And that's why it's important to not be stuck on your fears. Get these limiting beliefs out of here. These illusionary things. Get to what matters. Spirit is doing their part. They are saying you are in control here, but we're here to help. Okay, we're behind the scenes. Claircognizance is basically saying that's why they want you to pay attention to these things, because they're putting dreams in your sleep. They're painting the pictures. They're trying to give you inspiration and ideas of ways that you can conquer whatever it is you're trying to conquer. Maybe just not in March at all. Maybe the entire year. Maybe beyond that. So Gemini, there is no limitations to what you can do in March. And I hope that you set yourself free, because that is our last card that we ended with, is get more freedom and mobility in there, and you can really rip it through. You guys can really get moving with some things very, very positively. So that concludes what has been a very interesting reading again for my Geminis. I love you guys for it. You guys are great sports. And, this is supposed to get you inspired, get you motivated to implement positive change. Don't feel discouraged about anything. This is all trying to give you a map. This is a roadmap. This is your spiritual compass. You guys are in control. You guys are making good moves. let's just see it through to that next phase, okay? Let's get through March and feeling very empowered. So that wraps up what has been a very interesting reading. Gemini, thank you so much for tuning in. Please remember to like and subscribe. I do these videos every single month, and have a great March.